Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of costumeco. And tonight we are doing a roundtable, roundup, wrap up, analysis, whatever you want to call it, of the latest episode of Game. Oh, sorry, I was going to say Game of Thrones, of House of the Dragon. What was this episode called again, gals?
King of the Narrow Sea.
King of the Narrow Sea. So, and just to let everyone know, it's just the three of us for the moment, but the Don Tony Teflon is going to be coming in very shortly. So that'll be really fun to have Tony. So to start, though, what we'll do is just go around as usual and just introduce everyone. So, Tatiana, I think I always go to you after. Why don't we start with you tonight? And you can introduce yourself.
What's up? I was about to try doing that. I just wanted to, bring in the mood. Make it professional. Let's make
exactly.
Well, after throwing it back to the 90s. Hi, everyone. I'm Tatiana Melendez. I am one of Lady Heidi, aka Queen of Thorns, but the nice kind, not the bad one, not the bad kind, although that's really the best kind there is. But aka I'm one of her queens, and I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm an actress. I'm still in Puerto Rico, and shit happens. And this last episode, it went from 0 to 5,000 and nothing, and I'm intrigued. More on that later.
Yes, we'll go around. We'll do our impressions, and it was so hot that Rebecca has a fan. Actually, I have my fan. Mine's like a little one of these. It's an old lady fan. Woo! So hot.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh, and here's Tony. I'm just gonna add him. There he is.
I am.
There's Tony, everyone. Hey, Tony.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
We're great. We're just going around introducing ourselves. Before we introduce Tony, the Don Tony Teflon, we're going to have Rebecca is going to introduce herself to everybody because you don't know who she is, but you probably do.
Hi, it's Rebecca, aka Shadowcat Becks. Really happy to be here. I loved this episode. Definitely my favorite of the season. And I have a lot to talk about, guys. Also, I'm going to be dropping a lot of F-Boy Island references because that's the other show I watched this week. So,
actually, oh, hey, Tony, hold on. Before we get to Tony, I just want to say, so Lily Bug says, I really want to talk about costumes, but concerned that there have been too many spoilers. I want to enjoy the show and haven't read the books. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just talk about everything that happens up to now. And we won't go any further than that, okay?
Well, or we'll at least give I have a couple things but we can save that for the end. We'll yell spoiler alert for...
Yeah, we'll do a spoiler alert on it. Sounds good. Yeah. So anyway, with that aside, we have with us, he's our weekly special guest. And Tony, I always love having you on. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited to talk to you about the show because, we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. So do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, no doubt. I am the Don Tony Teflon. Teflon TV is my channel. You know what I mean? I represent. I also, do my thing on this House of the Dragon thing. We've been doing this for a little while. Also have a pregame show I run with Phil the Issues Guy and Bridge 4. So anytime you want to see something right before the show starts, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can catch us rocking doing that right there. Heidi, thank you for having me. So I'm going to say, thank you for having me and everything else. And, me and Heidi, we were doing costume breakdowns before they even had a costume for the show, right? So
that's right. I just actually, Reflective, would you mind putting Tony's link? She's actually, Reflective is now my moderator, our new moderator, and I want to thank her so much. And she was actually messaging me earlier to ask me, Tatiana's handle on Instagram and Rebecca's handle on Twitter. And so Tony, I have put his links in the description below. He's got an awesome channel. Highly recommend everyone check it out. So Tony, first off, before we get started, okay, I think Tony, I knew this about you, but look at Tony. He has been working out. I can really see the difference in your face. But also, are you growing like mutton chops? What's going on there?
It's the beard. That's a full beard. That's no mutton. It's a full beard going on here. You know, the Don don't do mutton. You can see it right there. Right? It's a full
I was just like,
beard.
you're looking like you're. We were just talking about. I was thinking about you because we were talking about the new Lestat, the new Interview with a Vampire series come out. So we'll have to like do that show because that looks so good. By the way,
Didn't we have plans to do that anyway?
we did the original, but we should also maybe look at the new one. Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway, hey Tatiana. Okay, first two things about Tatiana. One, after we're done this entire series, these 10 episodes, we're going to put together a really great compilation of Tatiana singing. It's going to be so awesome. I've been thinking about it all week. You missed it last week,
my best.
Tony. Yeah. And then secondly, Tatiana, she's sort of like our flight attendant. So she's going to say hello to everybody in the chat if that's okay.
I will do my best.
Okay. Awesome.
Let me-
Do you
let
want
me
to
see
say
if I
do you want to
can,
say
like,
hi?
Turn this
She's so-
around a little bit.
She's so good at saying hello to everyone.
There we go. Hi, let's see who we have. Hi, Minty Maelstrom. Hi, Carlaway. Hi, LTDA. Hi, Natural Selection. So, Carl Snark, our snarky correspondent of Snark in this commentary chat. Let me see who else am I. Oh, Living My Rhapsody, LMR. So, Laura Lab, my girl, Tim Fitzwater. I will try to sing if there's any, specific things that you want me to sing. I will do my best to sing them. Bo Day. Hey, bitch. Hey, Lilybug. Anyone else? Oh, who am I missing? Am I missing anyone? I missing anyone? I don't
As they
think I
come
am.
in, we'll
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, great job. See, she does such a good job.
If I could just give a shout out to a couple of people here
Of
that I've been
course.
seeing on here. One to my girl Carla Way. She's a member of Teflon TV all the way from Australia. I see her in the building rocking with us right there. So what up to my homegirl out there? I just want to say we'll give her a special shout out because I posted it and stuff like that. So that's
She
my
even put,
homegirl right
"G'day, mate.
there. Yeah.
Let's not put another shrimp on the barbie, right?"
Oh God, that was so enough.
It's terrible.
And
Sorry.
speaking about-
Yeah.
speaking about-
That ain't a knife. You call it a
I
knife? That ain't a knife.
apologize on behalf of the organization of costumeco for our leaders' indiscretions. This does not reflect the opinions of costumeco organization and Inc. Incorporated.
Yeah, that's going to be edited out. Carl's going to go get a coffee on that note. Carl Snark.
She is an amazing singer.
Oh, is she?
Oh yes.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm okay. Well, we'll have to get her and Tatiana together to do a sing-off.
Yeah, no, she's an amazing singer. Have you ever listened
Oh,
to
now
her?
I feel threatened.
You follow her
Oh.
on Instagram and everything. She's an amazing singer. Her husband is an amazing guitar player, and they just do great duets when you listen to them sing on Instagram. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Now, Tony,
Oh,
are you
wow.
still dry? You're not drinking?
I am drinking. The Thug mug is in hand. And
Oh,
Yay.
cool.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Woo! Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. I was actually gonna pour some white wine, but I couldn't find the bottle opener, so instead I just stole this tiny bottle of champagne, which is even better.
Okay, so Rebecca said that this is her favorite. She thought this is the best episode of the season. I agree. Why don't we go around and sort of everyone gives us their first impressions? Tony, since you're our special guest, do you want to give us your first impressions of this last
I would
episode?
say I do not believe that it's the best episode of the season. I think it was a very good episode, but not the best. But I have nothing bad to say about it. Just if we compare it to last week's episode, I like that better. Now, I'm a guy, I like a little bit more violence. I like a little bit more, stuff going on like that. So maybe that's the reason why. But to me, I like last week's episode better. But this was an amazing episode without a shadow of a doubt. I'd probably give it 8.5. It gets from the scale of 1 to 10, it gets to 8.5 for me, which is a good score for me, a really good score for me.
That is really good. What would you have given last week, though? Then
That goes to 9.
that's a 9. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So,
no 10 yet. No 9.5, no 10, nothing, not right.
no, okay, yeah. So no episode gets that rating from you.
It will I have to see them all because it's not fair. Unless something just blows me away where I have no choice but to do it. You know what I mean? But I'd really like to see all the episodes, and then I can give something a 10 out of what we've seen for their work.
I think part of the reason why I like this episode so much is that things that have been bugging me so much with Rhaenyra's story has finally kind of like come to the forefront, and it's like, okay, like now I understand why we kind of got delayed. Like maybe like some of this stuff should come in episode 4, but I just think, yeah, someone in the chat was also saying like the first episode is really, really good. So like we're talking, like when I'm saying like this is the best, like it's a small scale, but I think this episode is the most important as far as like Rhaenyra's character development.
Okay, I'm bringing it back. What about you, Tatiana? Thoughts, impressions?
Well, all I can say for this episode is bow, 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 bow. I can see the sky, baby. And that's all I know about this song. But hey, you got it. But I had to.
Oh my god, it's awesome.
I have
Okay,
no regrets. I have
Don't
no
have
regrets.
Any. You shouldn't.
But anyways, this last episode was a very good, and I had a feast for the eyes in terms of costumes. At least where Alicent was concerned, like I basically loved her entire wardrobe. And yeah, I was like, honestly, when I was seeing the episode, I was like, God damn it, fucking Daemon, you couldn't wait a week, you couldn't wait a day, you couldn't enjoy your brother's approval for one day before you have to go and fuck it up. Just one day, just give your brother one day of peace, just one. But no, his cock is just too fast. His cock is Speedy Gonzalez. His cock and submissions are Speedy Gonzalez. I just was like, oh my god, I cannot deal with this man. And we're gonna get into it, but like, we all understand what he was trying to do with Rhaenyra, right? Just in general, we understand what he was trying to do. Because like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. And I was like, he keeps on being this enigma. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. Just give him one day. Just one. And that is it.
I was thinking actually on top of Tatiana singing, like, we'll have to definitely have that. I have to get that your chick wow. I have to get that put on a loop or something.
As a ringtone.
As a ringtone, yes. I'll have to get like a curse jar like reel as well. That'd be really fun.
Oh, honey. I can curse in 3 languages.
It's a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of intelligence.
Thank you.
We're 3 minutes in, and the D is yes. We don't waste time around here.
No.
Tony.
Vaffanculo. ¿Por qué? Cabrón de Daemon, ¿por qué?
There was no grande culo in this episode at all that I seen.
Okay, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. Why don't we start with
about the F-Boy Tribunal?
Yeah, I was thinking that. We could start there. We could start at I have a picture. We could start at the you talking about sort of when all the men are coming and presenting themselves? Okay. Do you want to start here?
The testosterone was strong in this one.
Yes. Why don't we start with Tony? So what did you think about that? Like all of we had the old man, we had the little kid who was like fierce. What did you think?
I think it reminds me of like when you actually want to go to a nude beach. Like you hear everything about the nude beaches. It sounds glamorous. You're thinking that, you're going to see Kim Kardashian's going to come walking by, but nope, you don't usually get Rosie O'Donnell, right? So it seemed like something like that. Like, oh, it seems great. I'm going to have all these people wanting me. But then when you see who the people actually are, you got an old man, a little boy, and other people who truly don't want you for you, just want you for your status. And I thought that she handled it very well. I think this actress has been killing it, and I'm really going to be sad when she goes away. But that's the way I took that little get together with these guys and stuff. It just seems like it would be glamorous, but the reality of it isn't.
It was funny because I remember reading, I don't know who it was. I guess it would have been, you guys would probably know because you're more book readers than me, that would be a common thing that they would kind of go on these tours, to find suitors kind of thing, which was really kind of an interesting thing. Obviously, George must have based this off of reality.
Well, yeah, speed dating, right? Yeah, I don't know if
Speed
anyone's
dating,
been
yes.
on speed dating, but I have. And, and that
She could have just married Aegon. It would have been easier, but no. Okay, so what about you, Rebecca? What'd you think of that scene? It was kind of an interesting scene.
Yeah, it was a good scene. I was very disappointed that we didn't get a Storm's End establishing shot, which like that confused me, but whatever. What do I know? There wasn't enough Stannis in it, but it's fair. It's fine.
There's never enough Stannis.
There's never enough Stannis. I liked it. We're already I promised Lil Bug that or Lily Bug that I wouldn't get into like spoiler territory, but it was nice to see Rhaenyra, like, even though she might be kind of a brat about it at times, like, kind of, really starting to assert her authority. Like, because, yeah, like, they send her a 70-year-old man and a 13-year-old boy. But Rhaenyra's stock did drop a little bit for me because she liked the Bracken.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. But that's all right. He got killed.
handily too. Like
Yeah.
running your
I was
mouth.
like, go off, King. When the little Blackwood boy killed, I was like, yes, you go, bitch.
I love like the comedy of it, like as they're walking away, like the sword will fly, like sheathe your swords, twats.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a good funny scene, and it was just like it happened so quick. Like, there wasn't like they didn't have to give us a lot of setup. Like it was just like a really well done scene. But I know she's gonna pay for that politically down the line.
I have to say, that's a good point though about not establishing Storm's End, and this is probably one thing I am missing in this show is, like, I was thinking about this, like, we're not getting to visit all these really amazing places, like even if it's CGI or real or what have you, a lot of this is taking place within sets, right? So that, I think I agree with what Rebecca said, that would have been kind of cool, even just to have like an aerial shot of it or something to see what it looks like.
Or even just like, because I don't know if you weren't like crazy, like book readers, like if it would like, I mean, like they did kind of say like, she's on this tour, she's ready to go. But, I don't even know if they said specifically they were at Storm's End. But
I think it was. I think that's what it was. Tony, wasn't that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I think you're correct. What about you, Tatiana? What did you think about that whole scene?
On the one hand, mad props to little Blackwood boy. Like I said, like, yeah, you get insulted, you get hit. That's the rules. On the other hand, I am disappointed. Well, I continue to be disappointed with Rhaenyra because she's not like really seeing the diplomatic opportunity that she can get with this. Like when those two started like fighting, she had the power, she had the opportunity to say, hey, shut the fuck up. This is for me. I'm choosing none of you, so go fuck yourselves, both of you. She is the fucking princess, and they're here for her. Like, if you wanna bitch fight, you take that outside, not in my presence. But no, she's just, I'm done. I'm like, girl, come on.
Yeah, actually, I did think about that as well.
Like she has no she does not exercise diplomacy, or honestly, what little control she's given, like for example, this whole thing, it is like, I mean, it is like Tony says, like a nude beach kind of situation. Although honestly, the only time I've gone to a nude beach was when I was 15, and I basically just took off my glasses and stared at the sand all day. I just didn't want to see anything because there was a lot of old people there. But anyways,
hi 30 days.
Hey 30 days, boo, hi. What I was saying, but basically she's not. I mean, it gives you it goes to show how much like how similar to Daemon she is. And I know that this is in part of Viserys' fault because he's just not training her outside of like letting her be in the small council meetings. And like, ugh. But it's like she doesn't whatever small control she has because she is technically in control of this whole pageantry of guys throwing themselves at her to want to marry her because it is her choice. But she's not handling it well. She's not taking the opportunities for control that she's given, and she's not giving the opportunity. She's not taking the opportunities of diplomacy that she's given. Even if they're brave and they're not super powerful, you start from somewhere. And it's like, God damn it, Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
It's again that bratty mentality of hers.
yeah, and it just always surprises me like how isolated she's been. I'm sorry guys, I'm like having an allergy attack, but like she's like been so isolated in such a way, like to me, like, you know, yeah, like Viserys is effing the whole thing up, but like that she doesn't have some other advisor or somebody else teaching her, like it's weird. And it's like it's kind of the thing that, you know, throws me out, but I think she's going to she makes such a big turn in this episode. But yeah, I don't think diplomacy, even if she had somebody, would be like her strongest suit.
Well, she started the whole thing, right, with the joke. So you could say that the guy would just is following her lead, right? Because she was the one who started jokes first, and maybe and said that, hey, I like this joke that this guy said, right? So he could have just been saying, oh, she likes jokes, let me make another joke, and following her lead on.
I will only put like, because, you know, the Bracken Blackwood feud is just too big. And again, like I said, I've been watching F Boy Island, and it's like when you get a bunch of boys in a room, you know, trying to impress a girl, and like, yeah, it kind of goes what you're saying. It's like, you know, she laughed at one of his japes, like he's like, oh, I'm gonna go with it. But you know, F boys are gonna do their F boy thing when they're competing with other F boys.
Yeah, I was gonna sorry, go ahead, Tatiana.
I was gonna say, even because yeah, she has not been trained as well as she should have, but even within the small council meetings, I don't think she's getting anything out of it. Or at least she's not taking what could be. She's not taking the opportunity to learn to see how Harwin Strong does his politics versus how Otto does his politics versus this versus that. She just, I think in her mind, she just sees a room of grown men just bickering, and she's just frustrated that she can't because she doesn't have a seat at the table. Or she does by this episode, but because she doesn't have a seat at the table, she's more oh god, words. She's more frustrated about that instead of like actually listening in. Like let's say like Laris Strong. If Larry Strong was in her position, he would be just like sitting there, just looking and staring and learning and studying everything, even making notes outside of the council meetings. But she's just like, nah, I'm here. I have to like pour this goddamn wine.
Mm-hmm. And she's kind of like, I don't mean to insult millennials, but she's like the stereotype of millennial. You know,
Thank you, Heidi.
Sorry, yeah, I don't believe that stereotype. I'm just saying that stereotype. But it's like, you know, that sense of like, I don't have the skills, I don't have the training, but yet I should have that position. And to me, it just says to me that she's wholly unqualified for this job. That's what it says for me, that she's not, and it does seem weird. Like even like, you know, because I don't even think it would be her mother who would have been the one who would have trained her. I think she would have had like I'm always thinking of Moliere. Whenever you see a Moliere play, there's always like, you know, there's a, you know, they have a pianoforte teacher, and they have a sort, you know, I don't know all the different trainers that they have when you're a young woman of privilege. It doesn't seem like she had, like, you know, like who's the person who teaches her how to walk with the book on her head? I don't know what a medieval equivalent of that is.
They mentioned the septa in the first episode. You know, when clearly like they were just going to school, and she wasn't an heir yet, which I can see, like, you know, she's not being trained as the heir. Like she isn't going to have like diplomatic teachings, but also at the same time, it's like that sounds crazy. But I think they later in the episode, Viserys kind of said it best, and we'll talk more about it. But it's like her and Daemon are Targaryens, like they have dragon blood. They're chaotic. Like I think, yeah, like I know it's somewhere in the chat. I don't have my glasses on right now, but she's living a privileged life. I think someone said shelter. I don't think like she's sheltered in the sense that like Sansa was sheltered and like taught like you are only supposed to be this like pretty woman who makes a home and has babies, and she's pushing against it. But it's like I feel like her not having any kind of guidance politically it's kind of weird. But at some point I'm sure they're going to make some sort of point of that.
I think that's two parts right there. So number one, Sansa had her mother raising her, right? So she had a mother to guide her. She liked her mother, so she had a mother to guide her and teach her how what she would ideal woman. Two, Sansa wanted that life. That was a life she was looking forward to. She wanted to get married. She wanted to have kids. That's all she wanted. It doesn't seem like Rhaenyra wants that. She seems like she's more of a Cersei Lannister type, like mad that she was born with a vagina, that she should get the same privilege as a guy born with a dick. Just like Cersei said about her brother. She couldn't understand exactly why Jaime got treated differently and why they weren't treated the same. So when we did see her in some type of political situations twice, she got corrected. Number one, you had, I don't like defending this dude, but you had Otto Hightower when she was picking out the knights. He had to tell her what to say, like right there. Thank him for coming, thank him. Then she thanked him after he said it. And then when Rhaenys tried to hip her to the game, she tried to insult Rhaenys, and Rhaenys had to come back at her and be like, "Listen, shorty, you just a cupbearer. Why don't you go get their drinks? I'm trying to tell you from experience exactly what's going on." So she just doesn't take advice from these people very well. Maybe it's the fact that her mom's not there to guide her through it all. But maybe I'm just making an excuse for her. But that's what I say.
No, and
those are good.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I've been like. I love that scene with her and Rhaenys, and we haven't seen Rhaenys since that episode, and it's been a bummer because like there could have been like so many interesting things, even if it's Rhaenys like a headbutting thing, like because right now it's like all we're getting is like headbutting with her father and like her complaining to Daemon, and it's just like, oh girl, like.
And even then, I think there's a missed opportunity here. I mean, maybe it maybe happens later, but like I can see a possibility of like Rhaenys actually becoming her mentor, at least in a way that kind of allows her to live vicariously through Rhaenyra, because Rhaenyra has a stronger claim to the throne than she does at this moment. So she could have what she didn't
kind
have,
of like
what she
a
wasn't
skating
given.
coach.
Yeah,
Rhaenys can be her skating coach, and then she could be the skating Olympian.
And maybe
basically
they're saving it for later. They're saving it for like the time jump when we like move on, and it's gonna be so sad to see our young Alicent and young Rhaenyra leave us because they're so good.
They're really good.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, mentor is one of the most important things in this world for anybody and anyone in this world. If you don't have the proper mentor, you don't make it. Now, a lot of people in the streets of Queens or wherever else you're at, you find people, and you could find someone in the gang. You could find someone else to mentor you, and that's how you get into a life of crime and stuff, and everything else. But it's very important to have someone that you actually respect what they say and that you can emulate. And when you're a young person, it doesn't seem like she has that person in her life.
Yeah, I was going to say like Marjorie, like I was thinking like you were talking about she's more like a Cersei, although I think that Cersei is more politically savvy.
Yeah.
Like, and she's not, I don't think Rhaenyra is at all. And then someone like Marjorie chose the other way. She decided to go, I'm going to become loved, I'm going to be the loved one. So of the people. So she could have gone that way. And I think Marjorie was trying to show that to Joffrey. So Rhaenyra is like, she's just kind of like, fuck you guys. Fuck you and fuck you and fuck you too.
Yeah,
like I kind of feel like that from her. I mean, it's kind of like teen angst, right? There's a bit of teen angst happening there in a medieval setting.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the point. It's just like, unfortunately, that's been going on, I think, just a little too long. Like,
I think we're going into a shift though. Yeah, for sure. We'll get to that though. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Okay, so all right, so we have that
that-
established scene.
I do want to say,
Sure.
in terms of her costume, her
Oh.
coat that she wears
that was the
when
best.
Daemon comes in. Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I almost fell off the bed. I was like, yes! I need it yesterday. I needed it last week. I need it last year. Where is it? I need it. Give it to me. I mean, it wouldn't fit me because she's tiny, but I want it.
Yeah, no, it was gorgeous.
It was so good. Oh my god, it was so good.
Tony, have you noticed the costumes at all? You don't have to talk about the costumes.
Yeah, I look at the costumes and I know. So the number one thing that I take from costumes when I'm watching the show, and obviously I don't have the talent that you two ladies to nitpick things, but what I look at is things that do not pull me out of the universe, that it doesn't look like I'm at a Renaissance fair, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to make me really believe that these people would really wear these costumes at this time, and I feel and they have done that. So that's how I judge it. You know, it just makes me feel like I'm in a Renaissance fair, like I can go down the block and see this. Then it's a problem. You know what I mean? But no, everything that I've seen seems very realistic. They will wear it.
And also, adding to that, Tony, I really appreciate that, at least with Rhaenyra, well, and they're going to do it with Alicent and really multiple characters, but that they're repeating costumes, and not just repeating costumes. Like, for example, the yellow dress she wore in episode 2, she wore it in this episode. This is supposed to be like 4 years after episode 2, so it gives you it not just gives you a progression of the story and the time. It tells you, oh, these people were not getting brand new outfits every single week, which is something that other shows are very guilty of. Like, for example, Bridgerton. I mean, I love Bridgerton. I love the costumes. It's pure fantasy. It's pure.
I didn't like that though. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that she is still wearing the same outfit from like 14 to 17. I didn't like that because I thought, like, at least if you're going to do that, at least show that she's grown out of it a little bit, like raise the hem or something. But she doesn't look like she's aged at all. She looks the same. She
doesn't look any taller.
She doesn't look any taller. She doesn't look any different. She looks exactly the same.
She went through puberty very quickly. At a very young age. By the time she was 14, she was fully grown.
I'm just saying, like, as someone who has a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, there's like, it's night and day. It's completely different. So that for me didn't work. But then I thought, you know, no one else seems to really care. So why am I getting so upset about it?
Yeah, and again, I get it, but it does kind of. I do understand.
I agree with what you're saying about them reusing costumes. I do like that, and actually, they did a really good job. I think in Game of Thrones of, you know, they'd have some people wearing the same outfit. Like Arya wore the same outfit for 3 years, for God's sakes.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense.
And in fact, they had to make bigger ones for her because she did grow. The actor grew.
Yeah. It's.
30 Days says, I've had a hard enough time when they do time jumps. They should always have different clothes. That's what his opinion is.
But when we start picking apart the time jumps, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, there were like big conversations that they didn't have over the course of like 3 years. Like, you know, I feel like even though like a lot happens, like there's a little bit like you have to take like the time period, the time jump with a little bit of a grain of salt. Because
well, and actually, the Black Stag has a good point because, and I didn't even think about this, but they changed Rhaenyra's actor. So they had a different actor for him in episode 1 and 2. They had a different Rhaenyra actor episode 3. He's supposed to be, I think, a couple of years younger than Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure in the show.
I think he was supposed to be like 12. I mean, he looked 12 or 11, 12 in the first episode.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And now he's 15.
So I think the showrunners are like juggling it a little bit. They are juggling it a little bit. Like, you know, they're saying, okay, what is the most important thing here? Like, what decisions do we need to make? So what about you, Tony? What do you think of all that?
I think that the source material they're working from is not a lot. So they have to use what their best instincts is. What's the most important thing
Thanks,
that we
Minty.
can do? And they don't plan on having this series go very long. I think it's 4 years is what their plan is, right? So if they were doing a 7-year show, you could have these actresses play a full year of these characters, maybe even go into next year. But the fact they're only doing 4 years, that they have no choice but to do these time jumps and do it the way that they've done it. As for the clothing and stuff, could they have changed the clothing? It didn't take me out of it. I will say that, during the when she was at her brother's birthday, she did rock that outfit for too many days in a row. People rocking them outfits for a little bit too long at that particular time. But no, I think that they did. It didn't take me out of it, so I won't. I have nothing to complain about that. But if y'all are fashion experts, I'm not that much of a fashion expert, so I don't know. But
Oh, I don't mean I don't mean as much about the costumes. I mean about like swapping out the actors. Like they swapped out Rhaenyra's actor, but they left Millie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't think Millie is more of a star than Rhaenyra's actor. I mean, if you read, I don't want to go into the books or anything like that, but Rhaenyra is Rhaenyra. It's the show was around Rhaenyra, right? So it's be too confusing to have three Rhaenyras. You got have two; it's all you can get. You know what I mean? Did they need to do that? I mean, if they're going to be book accurate and make him younger, then they had no choice but to do it.
He's actually older.
Yeah, he's supposed to be older, right? Yeah.
It's a couple of years. It's not.
Well, they obviously had to age him up for the battle. There's no doubt they couldn't. I mean, I suppose they could have had young Rhaenyra, but it was supposed to be 3 years in the future. So yeah, he had. I don't know. So I just think that I have a feeling when they did the adaptation, like you say, they changed some things from the books. They had to go, okay. They had to kind of do this. They had to wait it a little bit, I suppose. It didn't really bother me, to be honest with you, about that, because it wasn't until I was on social media that I was like, oh yeah, they did age him up from that. And then we haven't seen Lena yet. We haven't seen aged up Lena yet. We will.
She's gonna be a beauty.
Oh yeah,
stunning.
So Bodhi says, "But hey, the thing with changing Lena's actor is that the young him, it's like 5 seconds, and the big 1 minute in 4 episodes, so it doesn't matter." Yeah, it was supposed to be a big moment though for him.
Yeah.
In the battle.
As for Alicent,
no, I don't think so. What do you guys think? So she had the tea.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if she had the tea.
We don't. You're right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
We don't know if she had the tea.
Mean, I wonder. I do wonder if the show is going to play kind of fast and loose with that. I'm not sure. It's a possibility, but I also think she's smart enough and drank the tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting though that her father was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I believe you." Okay, but anyway, I'll send you this tea just in case.
I don't think that you introduce something for them not to do it, right? It would make no sense for her to get introduced to that and then nothing happens of it, especially an ending shot of an episode, right? They made it very important for you that you seen exactly what this was. That they would have stuck it somewhere in the middle of the episode where you could have forgot about it, but they specifically wanted you to remember this because it's the last thing you see at that episode.
Yeah. I also, not knowing like what the time frame is going to be between the end of the episode and the wedding in the next episode,
well, it's gonna be because Daemon says that Corlys went back to, thanks 30 days. He went back to Driftmark.
Yeah, that's
and then he's having this whole thing with the Sea Lord of Bravos and Lena.
Yeah, I mean, that was gonna be
and then after that, it's gonna take a bit of a time to get to King's Landing. So it's probably like at least a few weeks, if not a few months.
Yeah, that was gonna be my point. It's like, they're not getting married tomorrow. Like, I think she's smart enough where, especially like considering like they think it's Daemon's And then if it's not, it's actually Kristen's, like that's going to be an even bigger mess. But yeah,
I have to
think too
say,
much time is gonna pass.
Tatiana's necklace kind of reminds me of Marjorie Terrell, or maybe it's Sansa.
Thank
Actually,
you.
maybe it's Sansa.
Yeah, Sansa's wedding necklace.
Wedding
It
necklace,
does
yes.
look
For the
it
purple
does
wedding
look
necklace.
like what killed Joffrey.
Thank you. I did it.
Yes.
I did it with that exact thought in mind.
Hey Tatiana, there's some new people who have joined. Do you mind saying hello to them for me? She's so good at
Let's
this.
see. Ooh, Lady Stoffel. Sub AK. Sub homegirl. 30-day reviews. Always lovely to see you. Well,
He's
see
got a
your
crush
words.
on you, I think. He's got a bit of a
Who?
crush on you.
Who? 30 days?
Justin, in
Nah.
30 days. I think
Oh.
he does. He can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think so.
Nah.
Outed.
Sup, Stag. Let's see who else. Hello, Trevor Jones. Mark Boy.
He says she has the poison necklace.
Always darling. I have to protect myself somehow.
See, Heidi, we couldn't be in school together, me and you. It wouldn't have worked.
Why?
Because you out people. You be outing people. He likes you. I know he does. And then you run away.
Oh, you're right. I was bad.
I would have been so embarrassed. We can't be friends, Heidi.
Case is wrong.
Oh,
just like your
Cruz.
style. He likes your style. No. Yeah, I know. You're right. What was I going to say? Okay, so we've lost Rebecca for a little moment. It's okay though.
Yeah.
All right. So where should we go from here?
I
Where
mean,
do
we
go
can go into like the
here?
big debate that is ravaging the nation
Sure.
through the internet. Did Rhaenyra rape Kristen Cole or not?
That's a stupid statement for anyone to think. First off, let's talking about that whole situation. Listen.
Tony, just before you say anything, I went on Twitter today and I saw all of this crap and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Internet.
Gray Area actually brought this to my attention today.
Okay.
People actually debating this stupid thing. Listen, did you see how long it took to get him out of that shit? Number one, that's why I couldn't live back in those times, because if it takes just as long for women to get undressed when they're in those big garbs, I'm going to be honest. If you ain't got yourself, some type of Blue Chew or some type of Viagra, you might just go limp waiting that long. I can't see her still being wet, waiting that long to get this guy's armor off. Next, if it took that long and he was still with it, how did she rape the dude? Look how long it took him to get undressed. I mean, he had plenty of time to escape if that was the case. He wanted to do it. He was about that life, and that's just the bottom line. There's no way around it. He told you. He said it in the episode before. He was a goddamn man slut, and he was fucking everything that he could.
But that being said, big but, she is the princess. She holds the authority. What she giveth, she can taketh away. So he lives under that threat to at least his career. And he also took a vow of celibacy when he became Kingsguard. But really, how much can he deny his sworn princess? If she had said, if her pussy had dried up and she said, you know what, I changed my mind, I want to do this, he would have gone. But do you think she would have done the same thing if he said no?
I think
just because he could like theoretically have said no doesn't mean that he really could have said no. That's the big thing here, because rape doesn't necessarily mean physically force him down and have her way with him. She could use her position, and he can always have that position over his head like a cloud, saying, well, how much can I say no to this young girl who holds my fate in her hands, because she giveth, she can take it away.
I think that a lot of times things can happen like that, but not in this situation. There was no, I'm the princess, do what I say, get on your knees, lick me up and down, dude. There was nothing like that. He played a little cat and mouse with the helmet. She kissed him, he kissed her, he was about it. He took he got all of those clothes, he let her undress her, he was about it. He 100% was down with it. And the fact that he told you before that's what he was about, that he was going around sleeping with all these women, but he never had a chance to be with a lady. This was his opportunity, and that was it. So it's not at all. I mean, that does happen, but not in this case. He was about.
I would at the very least say it's sus. It is a sus thing that happened, and I don't think it's as clear as, oh, she didn't rape him, or I think it's at least sexual harassment and sexual assault. Just because he said yes doesn't mean that he had a choice.
Okay, let Rebecca say what she wants to say here.
Well,
Rebecca, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're also talking about a teenage girl who does not probably really realize like what the power dynamics are. So I think we're, because I know like everyone like, oh, it's a Me Too moment, and it's like, well, yeah, she's definitely in a position of power. He might at the beginning felt like, I can't say no, but they both like have this. I mean, to me, I don't personally feel like the chemistry was that well established like beforehand.
Agreed.
Like yeah, they might have like kind of thought each other was cute. Like I just don't see it, which is actually part of the thing. She was all revved up from the pleasure den and Daemon, and she sees this guy who's she has the hots for, she thinks cute. I don't think she's fully aware of at that moment like what her power actually is, and I think it's kind of a bigger thing. I wish we had talked about like the pleasure den scene first, because I think she was emboldened from Daemon's conversation. Like there's she was being kind of a dumb teenager in that sense and not thinking things through. Like she was horny, and but like
oops,
it's like, yeah, there are weird power dynamics, there might be like weird consent issues, but also at the same time he ended up making a decision, because I don't think it was necessary. I think they know each other well enough. If he had really said no, she wasn't going to throw him to the wolves. Or to the dragons rather. Like,
yeah, because he could have just backed it up with, I've made a vow of chastity and I can't.
Yeah. And
that's personally what I think.
Yeah, and he feels guilty. Like that shot when he puts down the coke and how it lingers. But then like once he was in it, he was in it.
I don't believe he felt guilty at all. He told you the episode before that he was interested in spreading his mangina, and he did it all the time, and he was about that life. The fact that they didn't just bring him that up for him saying that for no reason. They brought that up to let you know that this guy's a man whore, and he was man whoring, and now he had a chance to be with a princess. She wasn't like, oh, you gotta do this because I'm the princess. She was flirting with him. I got your helmet. I got you. He knew what that was gonna lead to. He's seen that, and then she reaches out and then she kisses him, and she kisses him again like a little kid. It was very childish what she was doing. You know what I mean? He knew what that was all leading up to. He had plenty of time. He had plenty of time to think about that when he was taking off his clothes. Everything. It took an hour. I mean, it took him forever. I went and made a bag of popcorn, came back, and he still didn't have his socks off, right? It took a very long time. And he could have just been like, Shorty, I can't do this as much as I want.
I kind of got the feeling it was sort of like when you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. It was sort of that type of thing. Because someone said in the chat, someone said in the chat, I totally agree. I didn't find there's any chemistry. I'm probably the only person on this planet. I just don't find Kristen Cole hot at all. At all.
I don't.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
and he kind of is like he's like the Jon Snow of the show for me. Like,
see, but Jon Snow's hot.
I don't find him hot. I don't find him hot.
No, but
he's cute. He's adorable. Like, I want to put him in my pocket.
Yeah, he's an attractive.
I'm sure you do, Heidi. I'm sure you do.
Not that pocket, like my shirt pocket.
He's no F-boy Harwin Strong. That's
Harwin Strong for sure. Yes.
Hi, Daddy.
Daddy.
But Daemon, maybe we should talk about the Daemon Rhaenyra brothel.
I mean, we can
puppet.
first talk about the Daemon haircut. Because,
Okay,
like,
okay,
where
so
did that come from?
so there's this really great series called it's like I think it's What Culture. They do like ups and downs. Have you watched that Ups and Downs? It's really funny. And he hated Damon's hair. And I was like, story wise, what is going on there? Like, it's like they cut something and we don't know why his hair got cut. Do you guys have any theories on this?
I don't know. It got burned. I don't know.
Yeah, the blood and the gut.
Yeah, it could have just.
So instead of washing it, he just decided to cut it?
Maybe it was so fucked up from all the guts that he just had to cut it.
Maybe that's where all the grayscale.
Okay, Kira,
Look,
you can love Kristen all you want. I'm sorry. I just do not. I don't know. My middle-aged lady soul does not feel it at all.
Yeah.
Real quick to go back to that rape situation. We seen as Tatiana was talking about power dynamic and she held all the cards. We actually seen that in this episode, what that truly looks like, right? When Alicent is in her room, and then they come and they said the king sends for you, and she's like, "Damn, it's late," and that motherfucker still. But
I'd be like, "No, I got my period. I can't."
Right? That was not what we seen there with this dude. That was not the same shit. She had no choice to go. She got on this dude with his lesions all over his back. He looked like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia, just disgusting. On top of him, his stroke game was weak. And she wasn't. This is a chick who hasn't been with many men, and
she hasn't been with any except for
Yeah.
him.
Except Damon for like 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Are you talking about Rhaenyra, or are you talking about
Alicent?
Alicent? That's the only person she's been with.
He didn't get a sound out of her. Not a nothing. All she did was look at him and smile a little bit.
She was like literally the definition of lie back and think of England. That's all.
No, I was laughing. Okay, I made this joke to Jack. Normally the comment is you're supposed to lie back and think of the queen, and Jack said that means she has to think of herself. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm thinking of the queen. God rest her soul, by the way. And in that case, you're thinking of yourself.
Yeah,
that would be weird.
I think that's the difference, right? So when we look at those situations, that was a girl who had no choice but to go. That was not the situation Kristen Cole was in.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I mean, I certainly I wouldn't put Alicent in the category of marital rape necessarily. Like, we don't know. I mean, she obviously doesn't want to be there, but also, like, that doesn't mean that's not consent. You know,
she's doing her duty. She's doing her duty.
I think it's more of a duty. She didn't want to go.
Yeah. Oh no, of course not.
She was drinking her sleepy time tea. She was all ready to snuggle up in bed. Like, it's like, you know, God damn it.
By the way, speaking of the lesions, I think I had read this, and I mentioned this probably in the last one, that I think he has diabetes, and these are like wounds that aren't healing. So I don't know if they're festering or if they smell, as some people have commented.
I mean, they do not look good. That was.
I kind of feel bad for him. I'm kind of like, I kind of feel bad for Viserys.
I mean, I do, but I also feel bad for her.
Well, no, obviously.
And they have no. So he has diabetes this whole time, and they have no idea how to treat it. Is that what's going on now?
Well, he said when they took the samples, they were going to send it to Old Town and have them tested or something, but we never got really any kind of resolution for that. And apparently I read, though, that it was Paddy Cosendine who suggested that he be ill. Like, I don't think it's in the books.
I mean, he's elderly.
So,
I'm not sure.
I mean, I know we're talking about, like, really big topics right now, but, like, in the boat, hay was like, it's pretty much marital rape if you don't want it. It's right there. But it's also, like, she has to actually say no. Like, I wonder, and I almost feel like their relationship is such that.
Thanks, Carl.
She, if she does say no, like, he would be like, I
think he will respect her decision more than Rhaenyra will respect Kristen's. At least
guys. Okay, I'm just gonna say regarding diabetes.
Oh yeah.
because one of my associations that I work with is podiatrist. Okay, like you have never seen anything like foot infections with people with diabetic. They call it necrosis. It's like nasty. So I don't know. I'm just saying that.
I think that's like the advanced. That's like the advanced.
Advanced. It's untreated diabetes. Untreated diabetes. Yeah.
I know that because of Squid Game.
There are people who've had limbs amputated.
You have to have your limbs amputated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Lady Starfall asks, so who would you want to have taking your maidenhead, Daemon or Kristen?
Daemon, of course.
Daemon.
For sure.
Also, my boy says Crispy Mangina doesn't sound.
Kristen and who?
Crispy Mangina.
Mangina. Listen to damn
Crispy Mangina.
Someone did hashtag Mangina. By the way, I was going to say I would definitely choose Daemon as long as there's no STIs in Westeros.
Girl, you might get
Alicia says
tail.
neither. Alicia, tell me in the chat who you would choose then.
Yeah, help the Don out and Alicia. Why can't me and Alicia get a pick?
Kristen.
You don't get
Harwin.
Harwin. Jamie Lannister.
I mean, I'm sure he can be very creative without his hand.
Khal Drogo.
I mean, it is Jason Momoa, so
yeah. I don't know.
That's a whew.
All you ladies are all out here, Jason. You never know. He may disappoint you, ladies. You don't know how good you don't know how good he is. Just looking at someone you can't tell.
I bet you Lisa Bonet would beg to differ. They can't.
I don't know. I think she rocked his world. I don't think it was the other way around.
Oh yeah, she's pretty hot. She's pretty hot.
I mean, wait, who? Rhaenyra? I mean,
no, Lisa Bonet. Have you seen Angel Heart? By the way, have you seen that, Tony? Angel Heart?
I have not.
Oh my God, Tony, you have to see it. You totally have to see it. It's amazing.
Angel.
But
all right.
What was it?
Okay, where should we go from here? I got my fan here because we're getting into the sex talk.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
why?
Woo.
Got my fan.
It's talking about who we lose our maidenhead to. Well, then are we going to talk about the... is there anything we want to talk about before we get to the pleasure den?
I loved Alicent's dresses. I particularly loved...
I got some pictures here. Let me bring them up.
Yes, you do that.
I was actually, that was kind of like, because normally they show you in the previews, everything. I was like, oh, there's actually a bit of a surprise. I didn't get to see this in any of the pictures.
Yeah, that one, she looks beautiful in that one.
Yeah. And there it is from the side here.
Oaktown girl. Amen.
That was good. Although that's not my favorite of hers. My favorite of hers, I think, of the season is that one.
Yeah, this is really
the chevron patterns were just like.
I found the fabric.
Oh, the fabric was. Gorgeous.
I found it. I couldn't find the color, but I found the actual. It's from a place called B&J Fabrics in New York. So and I messaged them. I asked them if they would let me know, but they haven't gotten back to me. So. But yeah, no, it's really nice. This is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was like perfect, and I love the cap
it fits her beautifully.
It's like, yes, this is what I think. The first episode was an outlier in terms of costumes, not looking great. I mean, maybe the first two because rains, but like the first two episodes, those were like the outliers and costumes not looking great. At least in
I don't like Millie Alcock. I don't like Millie Alcock stuff though as much. Like I think now, I mean, you could argue, okay, she's supposed to be more the fashion queen, and although it's not like that in the book, they've decided to in the story make her more of a tomboy, which someone was saying that's like tomboy trope. It's kind of boring. But I don't like her outfits as much as and of course, and it was funny because I was going on about the iron marks, but actually I realized that they let out her sleeves, and you can see it in this picture. You can see that they've let out her sleeves.
Yeah, I mean, that one I don't like. I do like the red and gold brocade one that she has with the hanging sleeves.
That's here.
That one. Yeah, you look good in that one.
It's pretty.
It's pretty. It's not my favorite. I mean, my favorite is still the coat she wears on the boat. It's like
Yeah.
that coat. See, that's a coat
I
fit
don't
for
like-
a queen.
I don't like the way the arms look like her hair. It looks like horsehair to me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like the silk is really close to her. That's interesting, Tony. You should say that. The silk is very close to her. Let me see. This is the one that Tatiana really likes. This one, which I agree is really beautiful.
Well, that dress.
Yeah,
With
you'll
I
see
love
that.
dress.
The
That
dress
costume
underneath.
will be at the con, and this dress will be at the con too.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
crazy about
it's a-
this dress. I like the
yeah.
fabric, but I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, me neither. Like, it's pretty. It's certainly like prettier than most of her costumes, but it looks better with the coat over it. Honestly.
Yeah, Alicia says it's also the way they are styling her hair. It's nothing that a princess of her caliber should be wearing.
Yeah, it's like, that's one thing that I wanted to mention since like episode 1. I miss the curls. I miss the curls so much.
Yeah, and I think that was I think we're used to
curls.
that with the Dannys, right? And then Dany, every time Dany had a battle, they added an extra braid, and that was very cool. And
she had like all these. I mean, at the end of these,
this is really
show,
her hair here is really like, I'm like, what is going on here?
That looks like a wig. That girl that looked wiggy.
Alicent's looks way better here, like so much
Alicent
better.
looks fabulous, but like her, I was like that looked like a fucking Party City wig, which I know is not. I know it's a very expensive wig.
Yeah, it's
but
probably
the way
like
they
$5
styled it
grand
here
or
is like
something.
the fuck?
Oh, here's Daemon's wig, by the way. I know we were kind of talking about him, and
I mean,
hi,
it still
Imagination
looks
Realm.
good. I mean, I'm not mad at it. He still look good.
I thought it was
I like him with long hair.
Well, it's funny because this is actually kind of what Matt Smith's hair is like in real life, right?
Just brown. Yeah,
he kind of has that like super sexy kind of hair falling in his eyes kind of thing naturally.
Is that what you call that? The super sexy?
The super sexy.
Okay.
The super sexy falling in the eyes kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like an 80s
it's like a T-bird type of
what do you call that? It's like an 80s sort of bleach blonde, platinum blonde. There's a
he's very Billy Idol. Sting.
Yeah, he's kind of got like those little. He's kind of got tiny lips, like little like
he pushes his lips.
These are tiny little lips, but he's got. I have to say, Matt Smith has very great bone structure, and I wanted to point out in this picture. Some people have complained that he doesn't have eyebrows, but if you zoom in really closely, you can actually see the eyebrows. They're there.
Well, that's been a complaint that people have been saying about him since the beginning of time.
He has them. You have to zoom in very closely, though, Tony. They're like little feathery wisps, like something the angels have painted on there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like
I'm
delicate little.
I'm cool with it. I ain't getting that close to his eyebrows.
You sure you don't want it?
I ain't getting that close to him. I don't need to see it. No, it's not. I'm all right.
Oh, I just have to say, by the way, I'm so happy Tony's here to join my beautiful ladies on this panel. And Tony, you should feel so honored that you are here. I'm just shitting you. You are here with this beautiful, lovely ladies here.
I do feel honored to be around all you.
Well, you should feel honored, Tony.
I do. God damn it.
I'm just kidding. We have so much fun here, right? No eyebrows is always odd. But that's, you know what, though? I hate to say this, but I think that's actually kind of a natural to Matt Smith. And it's funny because Tony had us on, Tatiana and I on, when they first, I think, made the announcement who the actors were going to be. And I had seen him he played, do you remember he played, who's that masked murderer?
Oh, he played Charles Manson.
He played Charles Manson.
Oh.
And I remember thinking, and that was one of the things that kind of gave him that sort of almost otherworldly strangeness, was that he doesn't really have eyebrows. So, yeah, he played Charles Manson in an amazing movie. Was it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or something?
Did he play? He played Charles Manson in that movie?
I told people that if you.
Oh, I did not recognize him.
I didn't know it was him either. I didn't know it was him either until someone pointed out to me. It might have been even Tony. Tony might have been you.
Casted, I said, everyone go take a look at him playing Charles Manson.
It's a great movie.
He's in a movie called Charlie Says. He's not Charles Manson.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he played.
No. In the Quentin Tarantino movie, he plays
No.
Charles Manson.
No,
He does. I'm swear to God, I saw the movie.
he's in. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. He plays Charles Manson in a movie called Charlie Says. He's not in. He's
What is it,
not
Once
in.
Upon a Time?
No, he's not in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, but if you look at that, Charlie Says movie is
Sure.
you could see him as Charles Manson. He's Charles Manson in that movie.
Oh yeah. He looks good as Charles Manson.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys.
Charles Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was played by Daemon Harriman. So
Oh,
no, it
okay.
wasn't.
Sorry, I apologize. But you know, I just noticed that Austin Butler, who plays Elvis, was in.
Yeah, there's nothing to apologize. Matt Smith did play Charles Manson.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, apologies, everyone. Okay, but he did play Charles Manson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But just in a different movie.
I keep wanting to call him Matt Damon. I don't know, Matt Damon. What's that joke about Matt Damon? What's that joke about Matt Damon?
That's from Team America.
Team America, that's right. And I'm drinking, so if I'm starting to slur, I apologize. Is Damon crazy because he is impotence? No.
Oh my God.
No. Okay, let's talk about the scene.
Some Viagra.
Okay, let's talk about this scene. Let's talk about the scene.
We're there.
Okay, let's talk about him sneaking her out of the castle. Tony, let's start with you. What do you that whole scene with him sneaking her out? What do you think?
I thought it was, I think it. How can I say it? I think it's meant to imply something else later on that's going to happen. The secret chambers of how to sneak around the castle. I would say that's what it's actually setting up. But I think that it was a good scene. I liked the way she got a little aria on and she dressed up like a boy and she went out there, and it was like the first time she got to see the city, as a regular person and what's really going on out there, and the guy just breaking fire and all these dragon flames and people just shooting dragon fire out, and the actual play itself and everything else. So I thought that they did a good job with it.
Yeah, someone was saying it's kind of a Prince and the Pauper kind of thing, sneaking her out of the castle, dressing her up like a boy kind of thing. She's never kind of I even kind of thought it was like Aladdin, a little bit like Aladdin. She's sneaking out.
Yeah, I mean, that scene was cute until it wasn't, because
yeah,
the scene in the brothel, it got worse after you see a shot of Daemon and Rhaenyra walking, holding hands, and she looks so much smaller than him. It literally looked like a father and child, like just walking around having fun. And she's just like so childish, and he's just like I mean, I know it wasn't because I could see like the wizard in his head, but like if you didn't have the context of who Daemon and Rhaenyra are and what they are to each other, you would think it was like a proud parent, like seeing their child just happily strolling along the street, seeing all these new curiosities. And then he takes her to the goddamn brothel. He takes off her hat because he wants to be seen and he wants to be recognized.
He sure did.
Because he took off her hat, but he didn't give it back to her. He just gave it to someone else. He didn't even give her the chance to like hide her hair again. No, it was just fabulous. And I'm like, and then it got, well, I guess I can say weird for like a better reason, but a better word, but like it got steamy, and that steaminess was not sexy to me because I had just seen her be all childlike and sweet, and I just saw them just skipping along down the street holding hands in a very seemingly wholesome way, and I'm like,
the other thing it reminded me of is, I haven't seen the new Handmaid's Tale, but it reminded me of the original Handmaid's Tale, where he sneaks her out of the house, gives her his wife's clothes, and they go to a brothel. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that, kind of a little bit seedy, a little sordid. type of
That
thing.
brothel wasn't seedy. It was nasty. It's dirty, and it was dank. It was nasty. It wasn't like this was a top notch Littlefinger brothel. This is the gutter butt
Yeah.
brothel. The
I
most
Well,
dirty.
he's
Well,
obviously
isn't that the
I'm
brothel
gonna
Miss
tell you.
Saria
I'm
used to
gonna
be
be
at?
honest. Let
to
me be
be
honest. Let me be honest with you.
to be fair to Damon, I actually was okay with Damon what he did up to the point where he abandoned her.
Yeah,
And then that,
that was a little
like, I
crazy.
was like, okay. He was like, um, uh, you know, like as soon as she showed any kind of like, oh yeah, I want this, then he was like gone. And it wasn't because he rejected her; it was because he abandoned her. Like anything could have happened to her.
Yeah, that was the issue. I would say growing up in New York City and being out there, I will explain there's this one place back in the day, Becks probably remembers it back in the day too, that was almost like this, and it was called the Limelight. There was a club in Manhattan called the Limelight. And if you went, it was made out of, it was a church,
It was
and
an old church.
they turned it into a club. That's what happened in the Limelight. Like what you seen there literally happened in certain rooms. When you walked in the Limelight, you would see chicks getting it up against the wall, 5 dudes blowing each other, all over the place. The Limelight was crazy. It was a crazy situation. So when I watched it, that's what I felt like. I was like, damn, then they must be at the Limelight hanging out here. This must be the Limelight of King's Landing, because that's what it reminded me of.
I'm sorry, just laughing at Carla. It was funny. It was funny because I don't know why, but for some reason I've been watching this. There's like What Culture. I'm just obsessed with What Culture, and they do these horror movies. And I haven't seen the Human Centipede, but they did the Human Centipede, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like I cannot watch that movie.
No,
there
you're
are
good.
some
You're
limits I
good.
have. That is just nasty.
Yeah, no.
Okay, but that's really funny, Carla. You're cracking me up. Okay, so that was a very good point. Yeah, and like Alicia was saying, like the smell, like it must have smelled really bad. It would have been really, it was really seedy. I mean, but that obviously, like he was in control, right? And this probably was pretty hot for him.
Yeah, and it was hot for her too.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's dark, it's smoky. Like, okay, yeah. I'm sure at some point, yes, all those people having sex, it's not going to be smelling good. But even like with like Littlefinger's brothel, which is like upper class and blah blah blah, like this to me actually seemed like it was more of an orgy than like I hate to like they even called it like a pleasure den. Like it just seemed to me it was like a full on sex party. Yeah, it was probably at a brothel, but it's like
a bit eyes wide shut.
Well, oh no, that's a totally different weird thing. But it's like everybody there like was having fun. Like yeah, it was seedy, but it was also I thought it was really well done. I thought it was very titillating. Yeah, and I'm with you, Heidi. I was really kind of it's like I would not advise people, men, do not take your 17-year-old nieces to sex parties.
Please.
For their first time. Like,
Please, it is a PSA.
Yeah, we are not advocating that kind of behavior. But when you're a Targaryen, like, hey, fine. But, wait, what are the differences with what?
I don't know, Carl. Explain what the difference. Explain what your comment is here. I think he's responding to somebody else.
Everybody was on ecstasy in that place. I could tell you that.
No, it was.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that they not only depicted like straight couples getting it on, it was like also gay couples and lesbian couples. Like, get it.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't. Do they ever talk about drugs? I mean, I know they talk about the milk of the poppy, but it looked like it was like an opium den or something.
Yeah, not that I've ever done ecstasy to know what people look like on ecstasy.
Are you joking?
Are you being facetious?
I've ever done that stuff,
Okay. Sure. I have medieval Molly. Yeah, actually, it's funny because it kind of reminded me. I don't know if anybody's seen or read the what's it called? Now I've lost it. We talked about it in a video recently. It'll come back to me. Really great series about where they use soma as the drug. I can't remember what it's called, but basically, is they have all these orgy parties kind of thing. It reminded me of that a little bit.
Caligula.
Oh, Brave New World. That's it. Brave New World.
But no, I, I was with you. I was with it until he abandoned her. That was irresponsible, Daemon, Uncle Daemon. Like, how
Yeah, like if he was like, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Not even
Tatiana.
because she's not even because she's the princess, because she's a young girl, a young sheltered girl who has never been outside the castle walls really, or a castle wall, and she doesn't know the city. Like, I think the only way she managed to get back to the Red Keep was because she saw the Red Keep in the distance. Maybe not even then. And
yeah, like
he
if he
left,
changed
and
his
he left
mind
her.
and grabbed her hand and said, "Okay, well, I'm taking you home." Like that would have okay. I think it's just to show.
He left her there without even a hat, because anyone could have recognized her and taken her prisoner or hostage or anything, or done anything to her, especially if she's the princess.
Yeah.
Lady Starfall, I think what we'll do is we'll see if we can get those frescoes printed as wallpaper, and then I'm gonna mail them to you.
We should make like an entire fashion line.
Those sexy.
We should make like an entire fashion line.
Totally, we can have it printed as fabric, and we can make a bunch of dirty like fresco dresses or something.
Yeah, Carl.
Yes,
that Caligula movie was crazy. I remember seeing that movie.
It was funny. I have to tell you the story, Tony. So when I was 13, my girlfriend and I somehow we snuck into Caligula. We actually were able to get in. And Excalibur, because they were both they were both rated R at the time, so we were able to both get in. But the theatrical release of Caligula at the time was still they had edited it a bit.
Yeah,
they censored it. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably didn't do the ring.
Natural Selection says I can't wear my dirty fresco dress to church on Sunday.
Yeah,
I mean, and make sure you get like a seat in the front. You have to be like the first pew right in front of the priest, especially when he's reading the homilies and the psalms.
And we should get her a hat that match. Like we'll get like a matching hat.
Oh my god!
Have it printed on straw.
We can make her like a vagina hat out of the fabric. It's like yes.
Oh my god! You guys crack me.
Yes, I love it. I'm sorry,
ladies. She says she's here for it.
I've been watching what we do in the shadows, and they talk a lot about vaginas.
Oh, by the way, that show won Best Costumes at the Emmys. I have to watch it.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm so happy for them.
You haven't watched it yet?
No, I've seen the movie, but I haven't seen this series. You guys know I'm always way behind.
I started it yesterday. I'm already on season 4. The last season.
Oh my god.
They go really fast, and they're also network, like, so they're only really 22 minutes.
Alicia, we're talking about having the frescoes printed onto fabric, the dirty frescoes, and then having them made into a collection of fashion for
and we're thinking about doing a vagina hat with the fabric and have someone wear it to church.
Yeah, and then it has to have some ermine in there.
And they have to be sitting down like right in the front pew.
Yeah, but please incorporate some ermine, because guys know I love ermine.
Yes, queen cunt. I love it.
Yes, exactly. Fresco pornos, Alicia. All right, so Tony is like, why the fuck am I here? What is going on?
I'm here for it.
Okay, he's here for it. Okay. Great.
I have drank a lot of champagne, you guys.
Hi, Tim. Tim had to put up with us last week. By the way, so do you guys see Tim's drawing? Like, that's a really good drawing of him.
Yeah.
It looks just like you.
Oh, looking nice.
Tim, I don't know who did that. That's awesome. Tim and I Tim's going to do an opener for us. We're talking to him about, we're going to get together. Tim has a beautiful Southern drawl. I won't try to do it because I tried to do my Aussie earlier. It was terrible. It was embarrassing.
It was a little suspect on the Aussie.
Yes. Let's get a porno fresco made of blanket.
Oh.
And I order it from Vistaprint.
Oh yeah, that once we can get good prints of because right now I haven't seen a good high quality picture of the frescoes. But
Yeah. The production designer on this show, by the way, is really good. Like he apparently,
Yeah.
I saw the behind the scenes where they were saying he had that idea to do the amphitheater sort of for the tourney.
Yeah.
And they were like, "How are you going to pay for it? Do you have enough money to pay for it?" But he just kind of came up with this concept because originally it was just supposed to be like in a field or something. So
Yeah, kind of like in season 1 of Game of Thrones, like the hand of the tourney, the tourney of the hand.
Alicia says we have to bring Tim back. Yeah, or he's got a nice, rich, deep voice or whatever.
Yeah, Daemon definitely got her all whopped up. There was no doubt that she came.
I mean, she was using Kristen as a fuck toy. We all know this.
She came out soaking wet. She did. By the time
Tony, I have to mention something to you because you were complaining about the history of the clothing and everything, like regarding like getting undressed and so on. But one of the advantages of, first of all, women didn't wear underwear. If we're going to go by like medieval sort of, so that's one thing. Like if you couldn't get in through everything, you could at least just lift up the skirts. Like they do that in Outlander. A lot. Yeah, they do that.
Oh my god, they do that a lot.
Yeah. So that's pretty sexy.
That's basically why Scottish men wore kilts.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
They had no underwear either, so he said
they had no underwear.
Lift up the
females had no underwear.
Go to town.
They wore drawers. I don't know, like they would have worn a shift, so there would have been nothing. They would have had lots of like maybe petticoats and stuff. But so Tony, you would have actually probably have really enjoyed that.
You would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed it, but I also enjoyed butt naked too. I like a butt naked woman. I don't like this, a lift up.
You can do that the second time. Get it over with, and then then get undressed.
I'm not a over with type guy.
I'm not.
I just don't get it over with. Don, this is a session. This is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, underwear.
I
with
mean,
crotches
you could do both. You could be having sex while taking off the clothes. That sounds sexy.
Yeah, I could do that. Well,
maybe a lot of concentration.
Okay. This is like out of context, Tim. I'm not sure if this was. He says the one on my shoulders. Is this an out of context comment? What's Tim saying here? Tim, you're gonna have to explain yourself here. Tony is the best. He is.
You're right.
Okay, so Tony, you're having a good time so far?
Always.
Awesome. Okay, so where should we go from here?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to talk about the direction of the pleasure den scene, and talking about it, like we getting away from like the male gaze, so to speak. And I'm not saying anything like revolutionary, but I just really thought it was so well done. And they also were doing kind of the intercutting with, Alicent and Viserys, which, obviously was not as fun, while like Daemon's like telling her like sex is pleasurable, sex is fun, like, and for you as well. And, it was just really nice, like, especially after, especially in the early seasons of Game of Thrones, like the gratuitous sex, the sex, sexplanation scenes that they were constantly doing. And it was a breath of fresh air. And I loved also the way like how even in that sense, like it moved into, it felt the same when Rhaenyra and Kristen finally got it on as well. Like, you're not looking at them like full on, like you're not getting like these like big like tit bouncing shots. You're seeing it.
Yeah, they were going through, like they were looking like through something, right?
Angles.
They were making sure that we could not see Rhaenyra's boobies. Like you will not. I like watch.
That because that would have made me feel uncomfortable. That would have made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like,
even though she's an adult, she's supposed to be a teenager.
She's supposed to be a teen. And I find that, like, I don't know if you guys find this, like when I'm watching, like, say, a movie where there's teen romance, I always feel like, because I have teenagers, right? I always feel a little bit weird. So I kind of appreciated that they did that they had it through like a bit of a screen.
Yeah, well,
I felt weird. I felt weird seeing Macy Williams have sex.
That was that for
Like
I'm
seeing her
saying,
as a
yeah.
little girl, but when she was there, I felt weird just looking at that. I was like, wait, I don't know if I really want to watch.
but and even like Macy Williams, like that sex scene with Gendry, like was done with a lot more care and delicacy than what normal Game of Thrones sex scenes.
I mean, and the actress, oh my God, Macy Williams, she was given almost complete control over that scene. Like, how can we make this comfortable for you?
Right.
So I will
Well,
give
I
them
mean, there
props
was a bit of
for
a
that.
backlash about it, but I was kind of like, well, we grew up with her. I mean, like, God, in the first episode, she's a little girl. I mean, you
I get it. I have a little sister. I have a little
yeah,
teenage.
you can't
I have
expect us to be like. I always feel
sister.
like that's why a lot of times I don't like watching like teen romance things because I always feel like, oh, this is really weird for me.
Yeah, that's why I kind of got off the Riverdale train, because it was like sex after sex after sex after sex. It's like, are you sure these are supposed to be 16? Because
Yeah, like, so
this
even
going
if the
on
actor
30.
themselves is in their 20s, it just always feels a little bit creepy for me. So,
Yeah.
And yeah, but it was funny because I watched, there's this movie, and Rebecca or Shadowcat Becks knows that I love Alexander Skarsgård. There's this really great movie that I watched. It was an indie movie where he's supposed to be this much older man having a love affair with a much younger woman. And the actress is supposed to be, I think she's supposed to be 16, sort of idea. And he's supposed to be like in his 30s. He's actually dating her mother. And I kind of felt like disturbed with myself watching this because it was kind of hot. Like, even though the actress was in her 20s, I felt like I'm watching this. I felt kind of disturbed that I'm like, wow, this is kind of sexy. Of course, I love Alexander Skarsgård.
In where? In what movie?
It was like an independent movie where he is a much older man having a love affair with a 16-year-old girl. And so it was kind of like whereas like I remember when I was a teenager, there was a movie that came out called Sooner or Later, which was it was a 17-year-old having a love affair with a 13-year-old, which at the time, like, you're thinking like, oh my God, a 13-year-old, but he's 17. But she was saying, she told him that she was 16. And I remember at the time it was like pretty controversial because, so you're like, but at the time when I was watching it, I was 13. So I was like, oh my God, this is so hot,
I mean, if you want a Disney Channel movie that is basically that, and it's fucking Disney, the Lizzie McGuire movie, her and Paolo, she's technically 14. She's going into high school and he's 17.
Yeah.
And he's just traipsing her and taking her along all the corners of Rome on her own with no chaperone.
Yeah, definitely sounds like
that movie. I mean, I loved that movie when I was that age. I will play it. It was like a staple in like sleepovers. Now looking at it as an adult, I'm like, oh no.
Well, it was the same. Yeah, it was the same. I remember my niece when she was like 13, 14, she was watching True Blood. And I was like, oh my God, because like I watched True Blood and I'm thinking, you're watching that? But I mean, like teenagers, we had, when you're a teenager, you have your own desires. And that's why when you're seeing sort of things through like, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, but it feels like it is a little bit through Rhaenyra's eyes. And her, Rebecca's nodding that, it's a little bit fantasy. It's a little bit like, when you're a teenager, you have some of these fantasies. Like even like she's probably been thinking about her uncle. He's been gone a while, but she's probably been thinking so when he came back, she was probably like, God damn. Yeah. He's got that new weird haircut, but
there's a reason I think she was wearing his necklace during the procession of assholes waiting for her hand.
She was
great movie, Leanne.
Yeah.
I think she was getting like comparing these guys to her uncle. Like, oh, You don't compare
Yeah.
it to Daemon. You don't compare it to him, and that's the type of guy that she wanted. I'll bring it back to a real life situation again. We're talking about these young chicks because I try to do that and stuff. But and growing up in New York, you go through a lot, you see a lot. But I'm sure Becks will remember this situation. I said that before. I guess you don't remember, but this much you will. When you dealt with the whole Amy Fisher situation, I don't know if y'all know who Amy Fisher is, but it was a big case in New York City. But the whole thing about it was that even though she did shoot Mary Jo Buttafuoco in the face, people didn't even really care about that. What they did care about was the fact that she was this young girl having an affair with this older man. And that's what the media focused on. And they were calling her the Long Island
Lolita.
Oh, I love that story.
Oh, you wanna know that something like that happened recently over here in Puerto Rico? A young girl, like between her 18 and early 20s, she was found. Oh, by the way, she was also pregnant. She was found dead in the lagoon that crosses towards the airport, and that was because she was having an affair with this famous rapper here, and it was basically his wife and his wife's father. They killed her and threw her over the bridge into the water.
Oh.
And she was pregnant with the rapper's child. And she was just at most 22. At most. And it's like it was like huge for like months. Because I think he was also I think the rapper himself was also part of it. Was also an accessory at least of it, because he didn't want to pay child support or some shit. It was a mess. So I get it. I get what you're saying, Tony.
Yeah, they always focus on the older man, younger woman. It's always a big deal.
Especially when the older man is famous, like this asshole was here.
Unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. You're Leo. Just do it, Leo.
It's funny because Jack just says to me the other day that in was it Gilbert Grape? Being Gilbert Grape?
Yeah.
That he played a mentally challenged child in that, and I'm like, really? Like, I guess I have seen it, but of course nowadays you probably wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to do that.
No, you can't get away. There's a lot of movies, a lot of things that happen in movies, especially the 80s, that you wouldn't. Like, you couldn't make Porky's today. I don't think you can get away with that.
Well, but you still have, like, I mean, this is dated, but like you had American Pie, which is like, I mean, it's old.
Porky's is actually, do you know Porky's is probably one of Canada's #1.
Oh, I saw Porky. The movie
Porky's was at least at one point was Canada's top rated movie. It was like it sold more.
Oh, I saw it. It's apparently one of my mom's favorite movies. I saw it with her.
Like,
I was
my
stunned.
cunt party of 5, please.
I was like,
amazing. I don't care.
My cunt party of 5, please. Cunt, are you here? My cunt party of 5.
I mean, but Samantha. I did love Kim Cattrall when she's having sex in the locker room.
Yeah.
You go,
Kim Cattrall. Yeah, Kim Cattrall.
She's howling.
Shh.
That was Lassie. That was Lassie. Why did they call you Lassie? Why did they call you Lassie? Oh, and the best part is that the crazy thing is this in that movie about that part. All the teachers know it. Like the gym teacher knows it. All the teachers know that that's how she gets down. That she's good, and they're just dying, going crazy, laughing when they hear the whole thing going down. Like, how do these teachers know this? And why do these teachers know this about this student? They should know that.
30 Days is our tangent monitor. And do you know, by the way, when I was in university, we actually had a tangent monitor in our class. So if we got too terribly off topic, we actually had somebody who would bring us back to topic. Why did they call you meat? Alicia loves this movie, Porky's. But anyways, yes. So at one point, it was Canada's most successful movie. It's probably been replaced by The Red Violin or something, which is, by the way, an amazing movie. Madonna, is out here right now, and she is 8'5". What does that mean?
800. She's 53 years old. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
I mean,
okay,
Sherry's a vampire, so.
Can I? Okay, so I want to bring something up that this is an impression that I got, and I'm kind of drunk now. So, but anyway, I've been drinking seriously a little bit heavy here. The thing that I wanted to bring up was something that really kind of not set me off, but like kind of didn't sit right with me. So in the last episode, we have Alicent comes out. Rhaenyra is sitting with the singer, what do they call him, Tatiana?
What?
He's like singing. There's a name for that. Isn't that a person who sings? A bard.
Oh, the bard,
yes.
Sam?
The bard, yes. So she's sitting with the bard, and then Alicent comes out, and there's obviously this tension between the two of them. And I'm like, and I think I mentioned this at last week when we talked about it, like, this is something that I think could have been, solved with a conversation. They could have resolved some of this with a conversation. And then all of a sudden they're back and they're like holding hands and they're friends again. Sorry, what did I miss something? What happened there?
It was the scene in The Godsblade after Daemon came back. And like this bothered me too. Like where, it was like the whole like, oh, does he want to see the tapestries? And Viserys Drogo's like, he doesn't want to see tapestries. And he was mad at Rhaenyra. Yeah. And Rhaenyra's like, well, fuck you. I'm going to go see the tapestries by myself. And she sits on a bench. Then Alicent comes over. And, then they have like a heart-to-heart. And now they're friends again. And it's like... And after, Millie, I'm sorry, Rhaenyra, like low-key, like, she's like, I don't want to be a prisoner in this castle pushing out babies. Oh, sorry, But Alicent's so fucking lonely. I feel bad for her.
She deserved that one because Alicent tried to come out there like, oh, having a baby is no problem. Like, my mother died, motherfucker. What do you mean?
No, I don't disagree.
Oh, we lost. Rebecca, did we lose you?
No, I'm right here.
Oh, okay. So go ahead, Rebecca, what were you saying?
Oh no, I just like that's what happened, and that's like things where like the time jumps kind of bother me because with like some of this story where it's like so finally after I'm gonna guess like 3-4 years, like now they're friends again after like one like itty bitty conversation. Like I mean, again, I understand what they're setting up, but.
And also I was going to say that Rebecca, she messaged me, and this was all over Twitter this week, is that there was a cut scene, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tatiana, did you know this? There was a cut scene.
I heard you say it.
Oh, you did? You heard me say it?
I mean, I think I heard. While I was coming in.
Okay, so Tony, you knew about this, right? That there was a cut scene that happened apparently. So there was
which scene are you talking about?
There's a scene apparently where Alicent gets married to Viserys, and they shot the whole thing. She's wearing the costume, and I guess Alicent and Rhaenyra have some kind of discussion about her marrying her father. And then she actually helps her dress, which is in the book, although she's much younger in the book. Like, this is the thing. Like, they've added all of this to the show. None of this really was in the book originally. Like, there's these tensions because they were totally different ages, right? In the book.
Yeah. So, Alicent is much older.
But she's like 10 years older.
Yeah.
But so 10 years is a big difference. If someone's 10 and someone's 20, that's a big difference. When you reach the 20s, it's all right. But back
Carl's kind of he's kind of sort of summed this up. There was a wedding scene with Alicent in a cool dress with some neat little dragon wings at the shoulders. Exactly. Thanks, Carl. By the way. Carl. Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Carl, get in the house.
Carl.
Do you guys know that reference? From The Walking Dead. Get in the house, Carl. He's eating his giant tin of pudding.
No.
Anyway, so Tony, so yeah, so we were talking about this is sort of a typical thing in any kind of like even Shakespeare. Like in Shakespeare, there's always like there's some something could have been solved with a little conversation, but there's like
Yeah, a
some
little
kind of
Shadowcat booty going on there.
there's a little baby there.
Sorry.
So in Shakespeare, there's always a situation where you know, a conversation could have been had. And like, for instance, in Romeo and Juliet, as an example, there could have been a conversation that would have been had, but no, like everything, there's all these like cross wires. So, you know, in the end, you have like them both killing themselves. So I kind of feel like that's what's happening here, that with Alicent and Rhaenyra, that if they had like a conversation like, you're marrying my dad, I'm kind of pissed off about that. Yeah, I'm marrying your dad, but I don't have a choice. Your father has picked me as you know, his wife. Okay.
I didn't even know he was I didn't even know I was gonna be
I didn't
marrying
even
your dad
know
until he made the announcement.
until he made the announcement, and then it would be like, you know, I'm really sorry this has happened to you. I'm really sorry that you've been put in this position, and this must be really awful for you. So let's support each other. Let's be kind to each other. But no, it's like, you're a fucking douche. You're marrying my dad and you're having sex with my dad and now you're having his children. I hate you. So, you know, whereas, like I said, it could have been a conversation. So, Tony, what do you think
That's
about that?
why I feel like there's so many. There are episodes missing that I wish were there.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
And so they decided, and then so they had this scene. They obviously had a scene that they were originally planning, and maybe because of time or what have you, they decided they needed to cut it. So, Tony, what do you think about all of that?
I think that the fact that they cut it would have served this better purpose if they did show it. But I would have rather them shown a little bit of that wedding, at least that part of it. They didn't have to show. I think they probably cut it out because, you know, we're going to get a wedding, so they maybe didn't want back-to-back weddings that fast, you know, and that's probably why they shut it out. But I do think it would have helped with the story a little bit more if they would have shown them do that, you know. Had that one scene together, and at least that they were on speaking terms somewhat. But it kind of did that a little bit when they showed them at, you know, when she was with the bard and she came out there and talked to her and she called her queen and she gave her the respect of everything. That she didn't just call her bitch or anything. She said, yes, queen, blah, 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 and everything else. So.
By the way, just as a side note, did you guys think that like, are we wondering where Mushroom is? Like, did you feel like the bard might have been a bit of a mushroom?
The other guy in the preview trailer would look more like Mushroom.
Do you think we're gonna get a mushroom?
I don't care. I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I know everybody else. Mushroom, fuck Mushroom. Who cares about if you get Mushroom? I mean, they probably will show Mushroom because, you know, Condell is a big fan of the books, so he probably will get a shot of Mushroom, but he's not of any importance.
If we didn't get Patch Face, we don't get Mushroom. Fuck Mushroom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were better off.
S. Edwards says, yeah, Rhaenyra comes off as kind of cruel. I really feel bad for Alicent. Yeah, it's funny because I remember reading something about, I think it's the actress who's playing the older Alicent, and she was saying that, you know, I think it's going to be a little bit more nuanced. Like, you know, people are like, I'm a team black, I'm team green, you know, whatever. I think it's going to be a bit more nuanced. And I think that's what they're kind of doing. They're kind of trying to, you know, show where things are. But okay, so with that in mind, okay, let's talk about Viserys, because I think his character in this episode, I like, by the way, Patty Considine. Is that how you say it? Considine?
It does tonight.
Considine? I mean, I've been saying like Considine.
Is it Greek? It's like it sounds Greek.
Constantine is a DC superhero character.
Is he? No, that's Constantine, not Considine.
He is the MVP, I think, in this show right now for me, and I think he's doing an amazing job. I wasn't fully on board with him being the age he is, because it's a little bit weirder, because he should be wise, like younger. But okay, putting that aside, I actually love him and I think he's fantastic. And I was so happy and so proud of him in this episode. What did you guys all think of how he was in this episode?
I thought he was great. I mean, he didn't have as much, but I like his two big scenes. Well, he was drunk, and then but his like two big scenes with Otto, I thought were really good. I thought that last scene that he had with Rhaenyra was excellent. I thought both of them were excellent in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he is really, yeah. I do think that, like, give that man the Emmy already.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was so good in this and so strong. And I'm not like, I haven't been watching. Is that other show he's in? Justin keeps like, God, how do you got to watch this show?
Which one?
With Killian. You guys in the chat.
Killian Jones from Once Upon a Time.
No, he's in a show about like
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Yeah, apparently he's really great in that. Anyway, I'm like,
I've seen the first 3 seasons.
He's amazing. Anyway, so he's kind of like I feel kind of like he's like the Ned Stark. He's the really
he's no damn Ned Stark.
Okay, he's not Ned Stark, but you know what I mean. He's really like the main kind of. I'm not like articulating my thoughts very well, guys. Killian Murphy, thank you.
Do you think that Ned?
Thanks. I was kept thinking another person.
You think he's the carrying the show right now?
He's carrying the show. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. What do you think about that, Tony?
I like the guy. I like the way he's playing. I don't like the character himself, but I think the actor playing him is doing an amazing job playing him. But I don't like him. I think he's got a lot of bitch assness in him. I don't.
Sorry, what's that word?
Bitch assness.
What?
Hashtag. How do you spell that?
Bitch assness. That's bitch assness. That's what's in him.
Bitch assness?
Yes, bitch assness. This is guy. It's the guy who.
Thank you, Magic.
This guy's like, you know what? I just figured out that you put your daughter in front of me, dude. It took you 4 episodes to figure that out. How didn't you know that, dude? That was going on. Come on, man. Bitch assness right there.
Bitch assness, yes.
Yeah, that's straight bitch assness. And also, he hasn't made a decision on his own this whole damn series. Everything he's done has been suggested by somebody else. How are you a king when you can't come up with your own decision? Everything. There's nothing he's done that hasn't been suggested by anyone else. When he sent help to Daemon, he didn't do it to help Daemon. He did it because he wanted his daughter to marry Lenore. Because it wasn't until Strong said to him, "Oh, it'd be a shame if he dies out there in the Stepstones." And right after that is when he sent those.
No, it's when.
Well, I mean, he did it. It's Dr. Alicent told him to.
Yeah,
Alicent reinforced it.
Yeah,
but that is what did it right there.
Yeah, no, he's a bad king. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that in terms of the show, he feels like the actor. He feels like the strongest character. I'm not necessarily a good character.
As Carla way saying, Viserys is a serial people pleaser. Maybe I'm drinking too much. He may be a please people, but he couldn't please his wife in bed. All right, so
burn.
He maybe needs to just focus on one person there instead of all these people.
But okay, like as Jackie was saying, what do you think of how he dealt with Otto?
I thought that he was told how to deal with it. He didn't do it on his own. It's another situation that he didn't come up with it on his own. So he gets no props from me from that at all. I mean, he just did what someone else told him, as always.
Although he did imply that Otto maybe killed his father, because it says, "Oh, it took 5 days. My dad was hand of the king for 5 days, and after he was all healthy and shit, and then he suddenly dies from a burst belly."
Was that like an appendix rupture?
He says burst belly, so it probably could have been appendicitis.
Yeah,
maybe a ruptured appendix.
Or it could be a hole in the stomach. A lot of people do get holes in their stomach and die in their sleep just from getting a hole in their stomach and have no idea they had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if not, because he says, "Oh, my dad was hand of the king for 5 days, and and he's a healthy motherfucker, and all of a sudden he dies, and then my wife dies. Not 5 days later, Alicent is showing up at my door, ready to comfort me. I'm not saying that you killed my daddy, but you sure know how to take advantage of that situation. Just saying."
Well, I think it's kind of like he's not very observant. He's sort of he has to have it pointed out to him. Like I think some people are like that. And
I mean, several times, because Daemon has been saying this since day one.
He called him a cunt. He said he's a cunt. And he kept going on about how honorable of a man Otto Hightower is. And as an audience, we know, no, he's not an honorable man.
It's like honestly, Otto, for me, because if we're like equating Viserys with Tsar Nicholas II, then Otto is Rasputin. Otto is that creepy little motherfucker that has the king's ear, and he listens to him, and like the one time he doesn't listen, and the one time he decides for himself, sort of.
Yeah.
Which
but
is,
again,
at least in Tsar Nicholas, the case he was entering World War I, he just makes everything worse.
Yeah, I would say bitch assness too. Look, he pulled his knife on his brother, put it to his brother's neck with no intention of slicing him up. You know what I mean? That's this type of guy. It just shows you the type of guy. But why would you even do it? Why did you even pull a knife on your brother and throw him on the floor? You knew you weren't gonna slice his throat. You were just trying to show off. And Daemon was like, "Yeah, I fucked your daughter. What? Yeah,
I have to say, Daemon is like one of the things I love about Daemon is, like he punches the messenger. And he's willing to take a punch as well. He's willing to accept a punch, and call out Otto as a cunt and everything like that. Sorry guys, I'm drunk, so you have to maybe take over for me.
Well,
Rebecca, you go ahead.
So do we just kind of like keeping on the Otto train for a minute? So obviously, he was getting information, but do we think that Otto knew exactly who was sending him information, or that was just?
I mean, he says the white worm.
Well, but that's
yeah.
But does she? Oh, sorry. Like Lilybug, if you're still in the stream, like we're not quite spoilers, but
yeah, exactly. I think she's left. Maybe
like that's the thing. It's like we don't know. I'm curious, like whether like. Chicken or the egg, like, is it just that like something's coming from the brothel, or does he actually know that it's why am I blanking on her name?
The white worm.
Massaria.
Yeah, but it's like,
I have a picture of her.
Known as like, is that like a common nickname for her? Like, it's just kind of a question. Like,
I think she started when she stepped her game up. Like she said, I don't strip no more. She got on her Cardi B shit. Like I haven't stepped up. I don't strip no more.
I think she started doing it before, because how where did the informant come from? Like the air for the day speech.
It could have been. There's a good chance that it was her that she did drop down, but I think this time she realized that there's more money. Same thing, Varys, right?
Oh, sure.
More money in information than anything, and she's like,
but does Otto? My question is, does Otto know that it's her? Like, is it like that transparent where like Otto knows that this is Daemon's concubine who has been giving him the information? Like,
guys, I just want to say hi to Farhan. He's Middle Earth lore. He's here.
Oh,
and
hi, Middle Earth.
Farhan. I just was going to say, we were talking earlier. We're looking and like Tony. I don't know if you're watching Lord of the Rings. We're talking about doing a Lord of the Rings Middle like middle of the season kind of thing. So if you want to do that, let me know.
All right, yeah, I do watch it. I watch all that.
What do you think? What do you think of it?
I think it's good. I don't. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's wasted money. But is it? It is what it is. I don't compare it to Game of Thrones like a lot of people.
Oh no, I wasn't trying to compare it. We did a just to sort of we did a live stream, and so I was talking to Rebecca beforehand, like, hey, we should do a middle of the season sort of thing, and Tatiana's going to come on that. So
yeah, I will watch every episode that comes out of it. I can put it
for
down.
sure. Why not? Right?
Do
you have if you have Amazon?
Yeah.
I have to use my tablet to watch Rings of Power because for some goddamn reason my phone decides to just glitch out like crazy whenever I try to watch Amazon Prime there. Amazon Video there.
Speaking of that, by the way, this week when I went to watch House of the Dragon, it just like crapped out partway through the show. I don't know if anybody else had that happen. It's probably a Canada thing.
I mean, I watched it on my parents' room, so
yeah, it just kind of like crapped out partway through.
Was it the sex scenes? Was it during the sex
No,
scene?
it wasn't. No, it was actually during the scene when what was it? No, I think it was the beginning. It was the beginning. It just kind of crapped out. And I had that happen also with the very first episode. It like apparently HBO had an issue with like streaming in the very first episode. So in Canada we had a lot of problems. A lot of people who had
Imaginary Realm. I agree that I don't know if he's in it with her, but he did take her off her hat for a reason. He knew he'd be exposed with her out there. He knew he'd get called in there by his brother. Because he wanted to pitch the idea of him marrying her, right? So
yeah. Well, I think
he wanted to force the king's hand to allow him to marry her. So that's why he lied. Like, listen, she's already soiled. You're not going to be able to pawn her off on anybody else. Her virginity's gone. I'm willing to take her. Just give her to me. That was his plan. That's what he wanted from her, and that's why he did that whole thing that he did.
Yeah.
I did fill it with maple syrup. It's funny. Oh my God, Carl, it's really funny because I'm actually, for my day client, we're doing this thing called the Maple Innovation Challenge, where we're going to be getting a bunch of students in Canada to come up with a product using maple sugar, maple flakes to come up with a new product. And so, yeah, I'm very like, and Justin actually, who's doing my editing, he actually is helping me with do a video on maple syrup. So it's pretty funny. By the way, if you guys don't know this, but Canada is the largest producer of maple syrup in the world.
I mean, you guys have a maple leaf on your flag.
We do have a maple leaf.
If you weren't the biggest producers of maple syrup, I would be very disappointed.
Yeah, and it's fun, and I mentioned this last stream, but the weirwood tree, the leaf on the weirwood tree is actually a maple leaf. Did you guys know that?
I'm surprised.
In England they call it a sycamore tree, but it's a maple leaf.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. So
the Don Tony Teflon is more of a marshmallow flower man.
Tony, I have to when I finally leave Canada and come to New York, we have to hook up. Like, Rebecca and I and you and me, we should get together. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Anytime you want. Well, when are you gonna leave Canada? Get out of it. When are you gonna get out of there?
I don't know. My sister was saying to me today, like, you gotta get a passport and get out of there.
Do you need a passport?
You have to have a passport to leave Canada. You do.
What? I thought you just had to have a driver's license. I mean, every time
I'm getting my driver's license. I have it. I have my driver's license. I'm getting it.
Every time I've come up there to Canada, I've never had to have a passport. I just came through with a driver's license.
You used to only have to have a driver's license, but since like 9/11, I think you have to have a passport.
Because we used to go up there just to get Molson Triple X because it was strong beer. So we just drive up there just to grab the Molson Triple X and come back.
Yeah. Sycamore is used to make violins in Europe, and maple, its American cousin, it's very popular with guitar nerds. Okay, I don't know what that means. But like one of the things that I like, yeah, because one of the things was that Sansa Stark, she has like little, we call them like sycamore keys or maple keys on her gowns. Like they look like we used to call them
Oh.
helicopters.
Oh yeah, I know the type that the helicopter
Helicopters,
trees.
yeah. So she's
Helicopter
got
leaves.
those on, and I always love that.
Yeah, I
You're
love that
free to
one.
leave anytime except. Oh, by the way, so last week Carl and I got in, and we had a lovers quarrel, but we're all squared now, and he's my new best friend.
Yay! Wait, who had a lover's quarrel with who? What
I had
happened?
remember last week I had a lovers quarrel with
Fighting
Carl.
Carl.
Oh my God!
Get in the house, Carl.
Details.
No, you were like, wait, because he was like, oh, it's not a big deal that the costumes are consistent.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
I think he was
paraphrasing.
egging me on. He was like, "Oh, but there's dragons. It's a fantasy. It's
Yeah, that
dragons."
the costumes didn't matter.
Yeah,
you were
it didn't- it
there.
doesn't matter.
You were
And
there, Tatiana.
I went off on him. Yeah, we were fighting, but we were like we've come around now, and he's my new best friend, and we're awesome. Okay, so what haven't we talked
now I
about? What
remember.
haven't we talked about? Have we talked about the sex? We talked about the sex with Cole. We talked about the sex with Daemon. Not sex with Daemon. We haven't.
The
Did we
almost
talk
sex
about
with Daemon.
Missaria?
Oh yeah.
She was kind of like not really that significant this episode.
Well,
It is
I
later,
mean,
for
well-
later. For later on, it is. It's set up.
Yeah, she
It's
is
sad.
because it's like, is she? I mean, the question with Sarah is, was she working with Daemon or wasn't she? And because it's obvious that she's the white worm that gave the hot goss to Otto. So was she working with Daemon? Because
Well,
like how you said, like was she working with Daemon to dish the hot goss?
No, I think I considering like the conversation that they had after he came to, like I doubt it, but now
Yeah,
he
I don't think so
knows.
either.
Yeah, now he knows like what she's doing. I mean, like I know other people have been talking about like there's no master of whispers in this show, and it's like, yeah, but wouldn't like a good hand like you don't have to be a master of whispers like to have a spy network. And maybe that was like kind of like one thing that Otto figured out, and like and obviously Daemon knew that there's spies around the city. The rumor was going to get out that he was banging Rhaenyra, but I don't think he necessarily was in cahoots with her.
Yeah, I think his plan ended at